One of the issues with social media, it's been pointed out by many people, is that I think maybe particularly Instagram, people look like they have a much better life than they really do.
Right.
So
by design.
Yeah, people are posting pictures of when they're really happy. They're modifying those pictures to be better looking. Even if they're not modifying the pictures, they're at least selecting the pictures for the best lighting, the best angle. So people basically seem they're way better looking than they basically really are.
Right.
And they're way happier seeming than they really are. So if you look at everyone on Instagram, you might think, man, there are all these happy, beautiful people, and I'm not that good looking and I'm not happy. So I must suck, and that's gonna make people sad. So when in fact, those people you think are super happy, actually not that happy. Some of them are really depressed. They're very sad. Some of the happiest seeming people, actually some of the saddest people in reality. And nobody looks good all the time. It doesn't matter who you are. So I think things like that can make people quite sad.
Well,
just by comparison, because you just sort of people generally think of themselves relative to others. We are constantly rebaselining our expectations.
This is a Silk exclusive.
Welcome to another episode of Words, Music, Dance. I'm your host as always, Paulie the Bull. No relation to Gravano, not whatsoever, no snitching involved. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you. We're on YouTube. We're on all the streaming platforms for the audio. And A2021Vision.com is live and rocking. Hit that up. I got some links on there for you to support the channel, you know what I mean? Merchandise for you to purchase and also support the channel. We back in business. We're going to rock out for the fall season, get a lot of entertainment, a lot of content. You know what I'm saying? Took a little break. We've been off for a little bit. Haven't had you guys and stuff on here since about May. We did do a couple episodes for the Derek Jeter documentary. Those are special episodes because I'm a Yankee fan. So I just felt like doing that. But we haven't had real conversation in a minute. So, welcoming you guys back. I got Waykme, I got Tiffany, I got Michelle. And today, I asked everybody to bring a topic to the table. But before we do get into that, I got to address, something that happened recently. Something that's, very eventful. Monumental, in fact. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't start the show without mentioning the Queen. My mother's birthday was last week. So I want to say happy birthday to my mother, because she always watches.
Happy birthday.
Yes. Had to mention
birthday,
that.
Mommy.
Happy belated.
Yes. I don't know whatever Queen y'all thought I was talking about. No. My mama is the Queen.
I'm glad you cleared that up.
Happy birthday to her. Her birthday was on the 10th. You know what I'm saying? So, as I always say on the show, hi, Mom, because she always watches even when I tell her not to watch. Because sometimes y'all be saying some stuff on here, and I'll be like, I don't know them people, Mommy. I don't know them.
Sorry, Mom.
I don't know why they said that. I don't do that, Mommy. No. But she watches anyway. She's a number one supporter, biggest fan. But today, once again, Mom, you might not want to watch this episode. I don't know where it's gonna go. I don't know. But like I said, I asked everybody, to bring a topic to the table. And Tiffany, me and you talk. We send stuff back and forth, things that's in the news, and we all give our point of view on it. So, is there one thing that stood out to you this summer or so that you wanted to address and have everyone kind of talk about for a little bit?
I think mental health.
Mental health. Okay.
Because if you notice, there's a lot more suicides happening where like people are taking out their girlfriends and their families. Like, I don't think people are really realizing like the state of like where people are at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I think people are scared to admit certain things and be honest with people. And I think people are trying so hard there's such a thing as being over positive about things. Like, you know what I mean? That can hurt you and affect you too. Like you could be way too positive and you're not even in the right state of mind. So.
One of the biggest things I always think about when people talk about mental health is like Robin Williams. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always thought, funny guy, he must be happy, he's rich, couldn't be nothing, you know what I'm saying? And that, I mean, obviously that's an extreme case, but there's people that we even know specifically close to us. It doesn't have to be a famous person or an actor.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that we know that are dealing with things, and every now and then we got to just reach out, talk to each other. It's one of the reasons why I started this podcast. You know what I'm saying? It was to talk to friends, reach out. It helped me, get through some times and just communicating, conversing. Like I said, we talk, chit chat, share this, share that, send this. What do you think about this? Conversation is just a big thing. And I actually was having a conversation with someone about, my channel and the shows and stuff, and I called it social media because it's digital media, but it's social.
Mm-hmm.
I made this to be interactive and converse with my friends and stuff. Sometimes it comes off as like interviews, sometimes it comes off as just having conversations, but we're having a social dialogue, and we're recording it and putting it out here for the consumption for others to also join in and feel comfortable about talking about something they might not have felt comfortable talking about, or an opinion they were like, yeah, I agree with that, or I disagree with that, or what I'm saying, and that's where this kind of sparks from. So sometimes a conversation can do wonders, for people's mental state, even just checking in or taking them briefly away from things or making them think about other things. You just never know what people are going through. Waykme, what's your thoughts on that? What you think about that?
So I totally understand the comment, right? But I'm conflicted because I'm not sure if there's an increase in suicide, or if because mental health has become such a topic now, people are now, or it's more exposed, it's more talked about, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's similar to racism to me, right? Mm-hmm. They said when George Floyd made the news, and that's when everybody became woke, so to speak, about what our plight is or what we've been going through. That shit been happening well before George Floyd. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm not sure if, and by no means do I want to disrespect or be disrespectful toward anyone that's going through anything. I'm saying that the point that was made, I'm not certain if it's more suicides that's happening now versus back, pre-pandemic or anything. I think it's just more highlighted. And not to mention, social media plays a large part. Everyone has a phone. Everyone is, tagging something or posting something. So that too contributes to why people are now recognizing mental health, right? Mm-hmm. So I just, that's my thought. That's my initial thought on that topic.
I believe statistically they did say it is up. And I believe they did say, you brought up social media. I believe they said it's higher in like teenagers and things because of like social media, and some people feeling like the need to compete, FOMO, fear of missing out, feeling like I'm not doing what this person is doing because we're comparing, highlights to my regular day. So this one picture that somebody took, who once again, we don't know what that person is dealing with, behind the scenes from that picture. They just took a picture, smiling, cheesing, and we don't know, they might be really depressed, what I'm saying? So people are comparing, the highlights of someone's life. And I believe that statistically they have said that it's higher in like the teenagers to, mid to early 20s. And they feel social media is a lot of that. And again, it could be, money is up now. There's a lot more billionaires. There's a lot more showing off and things now. And if you're trying to be like or worried about where I at compared to, and that depresses you, and then there's also the chemical imbalances. There's plenty of factors to it. So there's a lot that deals with it. And now we have the abundance of the LGBT community, where people now are not that it's being thrown in faces, but now that's even more out, openly spoken about. So, but it also breeds some more confusion to what am I? I knew a lot of girls that were tomboys when they were growing up, and then now it's like you don't even get a chance to maybe go through a phase. They just, yeah, you that. But then you might not be. And then now you're torn, and I don't want to dive down that rabbit hole because people get canceled. I can't speak on that behalf. But what I've seen is some people, the confusion is now in abundance because you're unsure of what it is, and it could just be the moment. It could just be, and you might really know for a fact that I am, in that community, but I don't know how to say it, or So there's many facets and sides to it now. And today, again, like you said, TV, internet and stuff, everything is there, and people
I don't think there's enough.
Well, I'm sorry,
I just don't think there's enough. It's they're not having their own like real experience. It's like so much. It's like you have to be labeled with something.
Right.
Like you're feeling this way, and it's like, oh, you're automatically labeled as this. Like, just let them figure it out. Like,
I mean, dealing with a 16-year-old daughter trying to grow up and when they're like, oh, I'm depressed. I'm like, depressed? Like, do you know how easy you got it? Like, bitch, when I was your age, I was working, going to school, practically raising you. Like, come on, it was just, it's true. It's all about labels and fitting in and doing this, and even like not knowing really who they are, I think the funniest thing was when my daughter tried to like come out. And she was like, oh, she's like, I have something to tell you. And I'm laughing because I already see it coming. And she's like, well, I just want to say I want to identify. When she hit me with that, I was like, here we go. And she goes, and I guess the innocence in her, because Paul, you've seen Caitlin grow up. And I feel like I've, unfortunately, her father and I have kind of kept her in the bubble and not have her realize the reality of this world. And I'm trying to break out of that and telling her, like, listen, the world's not easy, but her father refuses to do otherwise. So when she came out, she goes, I kind of feel like I'm like a fruit cake. And I started laughing. And I was like, well, what kind of fruit cake are we talking? Like, there's plenty of fruit cakes. So, she was kind of like, oh, well, I just don't know. And I was like, well, when you know, get back to me. Because you'll know if you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So that goes down a different rabbit hole, right? And it's like,
right.
And I'm not saying we can't. I'm not saying I won't, go down that rabbit hole. I'm saying the initial topic, going back to the mental health, right? So one of the things that was said was the numbers, right? The numbers suggest, but we can massage numbers to represent anything that we want to.
Of course.
Especially, and one of the things that has to be taken in consideration is if we're comparing history to now, there's a lot more people in this world than it was back then, right? So that's one of the things where the numbers might be jaded. And by no means am I saying that, I'm saying one historically it was worse than it is now. By no means. I'm just painting the picture, and the goal, what I'm happy about, what the end goal should be, is that it becomes more prevalent to everyone. Right. And that comment that was made about labeling, I totally agree with that. Like it's back. So for us back in the day, there was only two labels, right? Back in the day, and I'm assuming we're all around the same age, you were either regular or special ed. That was it. If you had if you had a mental problem, if you had if you was off in the head, and I don't want to say it that way. Can you edit that? I'll send you a couple dollars for real, bro.
If you was different, let's just say if you was
mentally challenged, right? If you had behavioral issues, right? You were considered special education. That was it, right? ADHD, special ed, or you were normal. So those are the only two labels. Now it's all these other labels that I can't even think about, right? And as far as the comment in regards to LBGTQ, I don't know the rest
the
of the
alphabet community.
I would say that I used to, but I don't want to get sued. I'm just here. So I don't get sued.
It's a lot. It's because they're adding new letters and I can't keep up.
So in regards to that, and this is my belief is, it is, I believe the world has made it a little more safe for them now.
Yeah.
Than it was, when we were teenagers coming up. But I could be totally wrong because I don't really associate too much with that community, right? I have nothing against them. I have one or two family members that are in that community. But I don't know. I do know that someone I think Michelle made the point where they're confused. Like one day they want to be in the community, one day they want to be not in the community, right? Because it's not even it's not okay to say in the community and normal, right? That
well,
that's
to be
not
clear,
okay to say, right?
Sometimes people take confusion, like you're confused as a negative thing. Confusion is normal. If you're unsure about things, it should be okay to say, I don't know.
Correct.
Right.
I'm
But
unsure.
I think that's where the pressure comes in to being like, you have to be either this or you have to be either that. Like you.
Right.
So I think when the term confused is used as it pertains to kids, it's more, it has nothing to do with not being normal or anything. It's they don't realize the games they're playing with their own life.
Right.
As well as other people's lives.
Yeah.
Right. So today, you know what? I don't like Joe, so I'm gonna be with a girl. Tomorrow, I don't like Samantha because she did me wrong. I'm gonna go back and be with Joe. You're playing a game. You're playing a dangerous game, right? And you're confusing a lot of people. And then that's where that label come in, right? And that's when it starts being labeled. And then that brings forth the bigger conversation of confusion. Because now the people that oversee that are watching you, they're like, yo, I'm confused because you're confused. And my confusion is totally different than what your confusion looks like.
And you know what's the worst labels? The worst labels to me is millennials, baby boomers, Gen Z, because now you're creating a war between all of us. Oh, you were born here, so you're one of those, or you think like this because, and it's like, what? Like that adds confusion. So now it's like, oh, I'm a this, so I gotta be like that, and I don't like you because you're one of those that was born a year before me, and it's just stupidity. Like, and that adds to some confusion. Like people, I gotta fit into some sort of box because, and I'm sorry, Michelle, but people do that with astrology sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Before you
You're that way because you're a such and such, and the moon is on your birth, on your shoulder, and behind your back is some Gatorade, and the Mercuries, and so that's why I'm this way. And that's how people use excuses.
Something's happening here too.
They're having an astrology battle.
The astrology, because it's another label that you're given that people some people use it as an excuse. Oh, I'm this way because, and it's just
they act that way because.
Like I'm crazy because I'm a Gemini, okay?
See?
But I'm not though. I'm not a Gemini.
But people use like labels in general, you either use it as an excuse or use it as a crutch for everything. Oh, well, because this, and it's just like, what? Like, what I'm saying? But I do want to say, especially speaking to, the mental health side of things, it is a good thing that it is being spoken about more. Charlemagne was big on pushing that out when he had his book and stuff. He mentions that a lot. I think Logic had a song about it. He put the phone number in there.
Yeah.
So, even whether you like the song or not, hey, the song is actually the title is the phone number.
Right. They changed the number now.
Oh, they changed the number? Oh, see?
Yeah, they changed the number. It's not a 3-digit number. I don't know what it is, though, but it's a 3-digit number, though.
Right. They got apps. Oh, yeah, that's right. They did. They made it like 511 or something like this. There's an emergency hotline for it now. So, I mean, and I don't know. I'm sorry if I don't know the exact number. I wasn't, planning for that, but I'll put it somewhere. But it's prevalent now. So that's one thing that in today's time now is more accessible. The help. You know what I'm saying? And but like anybody that needs help, step one is to admit that. I'm sorry. What you saying, Joaquin?
Beyond the help, the acknowledgement, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. Right.
If you had that type of ailment,
right.
First of all, you couldn't even admit you had mental health issues.
Right.
Right. That wasn't the term.
Right.
Now it's cool to be in therapy. Right. I know a few girls that be like, I only date men that are working on themselves. What does that mean? They're in therapy. All right. So if I want to date you, I gotta sign up for it. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I think they're using it wrong, but I mean, for myself, like I'm in therapy, right? Like I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I battled depression. I actually took a break from social media because everything, period, just was getting real heavy for me. So I had to take a step back, and I feel like I'm what they call as like a functioning person who has depression because I'll get up and do my job, but after that, like I'm in my zone of just shutting down and like not dealing with anyone, like, you know what I mean? So like I have a therapist and I speak proudly about it because I just feel like, you know what? But the thing that bothers me is like people always want to give me tough love. Oh, you a strong girl. Like I'm a girl. Like I'm emotional. Like I go through emotions.
I
like
can definitely second that because I mean, I'm totally open about in the fact that I am getting help. You know, I've had really past bad traumatic situations. I've been diagnosed. I've been medically diagnosed with, you know, mental health conditions. And I do take medication for it to get better. So, you know, to me, I'm doing that part for myself. But when when I get people like, oh, but you know, you've done a great job raising your kids on your own. Like, it's like, but I'm still a woman. Like I'm still emotional. Like I'm an emotional creature. Like I appreciate the tough love and I appreciate that you think I can handle the tough love. But there's moments where I'm kind of like, that's not what I need right now.
Right. And it's funny because I battled that recently. Like I had a situation where I just was so frustrated with myself and somebody felt like, you know what, you need tough love. Just get over it. Just get over it. And I was like, I kind of just need to just cry it out real quick. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can't, it's too much. It's like the bottle is full right now. Like I'm gonna explode. Like I can't hold it. And I like people forget
like a champagne
because I'm always wearing a smile that it's like, oh no, Tiff got it. Like she good. No, I don't have it. Like I'm falling apart here. And it's like, let me, but like I'm allowed to not be okay. And like, you know, people kind of make me feel guilty for maybe having the moments and just sitting there with my emotions for a minute trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? And it sucks. It sucks sometimes. It really does.
And it's true. Like, but even at that, but even for males too, like I feel like women who down look at men who become emotional because they're having a breakdown, they kind of like belittle them. And to me, it's like, they're human and they're entitled to have that emotion, whether they want to cry, they feel frustrated, but it doesn't make them less masculine because they're expressing themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I feel like that's also a big stigma when it comes to like mental health and men and expressing themselves in the sense of like, that they feel that they can't do it. You know, some men, and I definitely applaud the men that do it and don't give a fuck because I think they're doing it for themselves. And it's like, all right, I'm going to have a little mental breakdown and cry and just get my shit together in 5 minutes and give themselves a pep talk. You know, kudos to you. But then there's men that refuse to do that. And then that's just going to lead down a bad toxic rabbit hole where, you know, you're going to end up taking out that anger and frustration on others, you know, and again, there are as well, there's some women who feel that, you know what, I gotta be tough, I gotta thug it out. And then they become toxic in the sense of that they start taking it out on people that they love as well. And they don't even see it.
Yeah, no, it's true. But listen, I love me a vulnerable poppy, okay? Cry on my shoulder. Let me hold you, baby, okay? Like, cry all over me. I will not go in your face. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me wipe your tears, boo. I got you.
Okay. I'll take a titty and wipe that tear right off you. Okay. Like come cry on me. Okay.
Hey, yo, Paul.
Huh?
I gotta go back and listen to all the podcasts that Tiffany was on because she always have a podcast quotable, right? A vulnerable poppy. What is a vulnerable poppy? Yo, listen.
We taking walls down over here, okay? Like you letting me in. You letting me in. I'm not playing that shit. If you want me to hold you down solidly, you gotta let me in. Like you allowed to have a safe place for me. Like home is where I am for you. Like you gonna feel safe for me. If the world don't got you, anything I got you. Like that's how I'm trying to make it for the person I'm with.
I dig it.
It's just these motherfuckers take advantage.
Right.
Hey, yo, going back real quick, you know, one of the things about mental health that's most important is when you find out what your triggers are and then expressing what those triggers are, right? Because, you know, that creates a subconscious spiral that you don't even realize. And the person that you're dealing with had no idea. Whether it's a friend, family member, child, they have no idea. So that's most critical, right? So when we talk about, you know, whether it's, you know, self-help or some type of therapy, you need to understand what your triggers are and what will cause you to go down that dark path. And then communicate, right? Being, you know, open enough with whomever is in your circle to communicate that, you know? So it's, you know, an example is when a person, whether it be a man or a woman, excuse me, just went through a horrible breakup, right? One that was full of, not only verbal but physical, right? There's gonna be triggers that they hold on to, like certain key words or key actions. And then that next person, your brother, your cousin, your friend, jokingly does it, and you just snap or start crying or go into that dark space.
Yeah.
So, that's something that has to be talked about.
So right, because even like I know that I've had people, near and dear to me who have said triggers. And I feel like until I got medically diagnosed, I feel like my partner was like, oh, that makes sense. So
do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
No, go for it.
Right. When you were at the point of your, just, I don't know what to call it, I guess healing process, right?
Right.
When the opportunity of possibly medication came in, did you go through thoughts of feeling like, damn, am I a failure behind this?
100%. 100%. I was kind of like, I wasn't, it was kind of like, it kind of made me feel in that stigma of like, damn, am I that fucked up that I need medication to get better? Like, am I that damaged that I need this in order to be good? And, and like I said, like there is a lot of things that, because I was never medically diagnosed, I have a very bad habit, and I'll admit it. I've been learning a lot these last, couple of years about accountability, my actions, my reactions. And I'm like a bull. If I see red, when I see red, I go 0 to 100. There is no middle ground. And whoever's in that line of fire, like they're gonna get it. They're gonna get it. And unfortunately, there's been innocent bystanders, and until, like I said, when I was like, all right, you know what? I need to do this not only for myself, but for my kids, and then for my partner. I was like, I really need to better myself. So, there were certain things, certain steps, certain programs that I got into, to better myself. And it made me feel extremely vulnerable. It made me feel like, damn, like, am I that much of a fucking failure? Like, did I really need to come to this to like get better? But I feel like within that healing process, I'm like seeing like, okay, well, I stopped this, I'm getting healthier. Like I stopped this, like, I'm not having those rage fits. The medication doesn't, my fear was that the medication was going to keep me like a zombie in the sense of very like mellow. And I'm not a mellow person. I'm
like you were there, but just not there.
Right. And
right?
I am an extrovert. I am a social butterfly. I am very, like, I'm always down to kiki with my bitches and shit. Like if I hang out with my boys, I'm down to like talk, shit about sports, because that sports, comics, whatever it is, like, but that's just who I am. Right. And I just kind of felt like, damn, I go on this medication, people are going to notice. And they did. When I went on the medication, because my body was getting used to it, I literally got pulled aside at my job, and they're like, yo, like, you're not yourself. They're like, you're like, what's wrong? And I had to show them, because they thought I was like high. And I was like, I don't even smoke. I was like, so I had to show them, like, this is the medication I'm on until my body adjusts to it. I'm going to be a little bit mellowed out until I kind of got back into my routine.
Okay.
So, and it's one of those things, do I eventually want to get off of these pills? Absolutely. Because I don't want to just have a pill to have it for the rest of my life. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And, so like I said, it was tough, but, I think the tougher part was when, the psychiatrist gave me on paper, well, this is what you're being medically diagnosed with. These are your mental health conditions.
That's
and
when they hit hard.
Bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, God damn, I'm real fucked up. I'm like, damn, my parents and my past has really done a number on me.
Yeah.
But the point was to come to that realization and trying to be better and become better and just grow from that, because at the end of the day, all I'm going to have is myself.
Yeah.
So,
and like I said, the first step to anything, whether when you're an alcoholic, you go to AA, they say you got the first step is to say, I am an alcoholic. With any condition, any
I would be like,
situation.
I'm a social drinker.
Yeah, and that's the denial phase. But you have to first admit that I need
and
help.
That's tough.
That's the hardest part for everybody. Like,
and I was gonna say, I think for me it was, I was just there. I was there, and I think I focused so much on just, I think I was trying too hard to convince myself that, you know, I was happy when I wasn't, and I was hurting.
Hold on.
He came back.
Whoop, whoop. Okay.
Oh, it's a party now.
It's a party
Stay
now.
away. What's going on here? Couldn't stay away, huh? But in conclusion, definitely everyone, if you know, depression, you know, you never know. It looks different. It feels different. Like it's mental health. It's different for everybody. There's no, you look fine. What do you mean? Like,
right. No. And then my biggest thing is the one thing that I do not like that people tend to focus on. It's like, if you don't post on social media every day, it's like,
that's why I got rid of it.
That irritates me so much, because it's like, first of all, I like to make my page based upon, and I can't speak for anybody else, because I know like social media gives you this unrealistic type of like idea and competition of what you think you should be. I like to make my page based upon me. It's always going to be me, things that I would say, things that how I feel. It's just going to represent me. Like, you come to my page, you're going to get a taste and understanding of who I am. And I just feel like my thing about it is, when I take these breaks and then I post randomly, oh, where you been at? Like, I've been missing you. Okay, you have my number. Like, you know, call me. Right, at any time you could have, if I was thought of, you ain't see me on social media, you could have FaceTime, whatever you could have hit me, and they don't. And it's like, it's just, those are just weird behaviors to me. And then they wonder why people slip away, or like, damn, like, I didn't have a clue. Of course you didn't have a clue, because you think social media is what really,
that's real.
No, and it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
I'm going to post the phone numbers. I'm going to post the websites, apps, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? Talk to somebody. Yeah. Talk to us, all my friends, everybody, you know, reach out. Like, I've spoke to some people, metaphorically talked off the ledge. You know what I'm saying? Not literally, haven't talked to anybody off the ledge, but sometimes they can get to that point. I had conversations with people. You know, I've cried, you know, we've cried. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sometimes vulnerable Poppy.
I mean, you know. But we've all had situations, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've all had situations. But you know, it takes something different for everyone to you know. So it takes everybody different to even realize, and then it may take something different to even come from out of that place. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's no face to it, there's no look to it. So, you know,
it's really not. And that's why I said, like, people like when I sit here and I tell them, they be like, how did you so happy? You always got a smile on your face. I'm like, where am I supposed to walk around like you are? Like, just sitting here mopey and like
just punch you with that? Would that let you know how I feel? Like, if I just snuck you real quick?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, depression just has so many levels and faces to it that like people just assume like, oh, you know, like when I started to notice, I was like, when I just was sleeping, I let that alarm just hit and I just roll out of bed like 9-10 o'clock, and I was like, all right, this is not normal me. Like, I had to start paying attention. I was like, you know what? Then I kept my phone on do not disturb for too long. Like, it would go from like just not the night, like all day long, and like people would be like, yo, I'm trying to reach you, and I'm like, yeah, nah, I'll call you back. Like, or I just wouldn't call him back at all. And like, I had to like catch myself, because I was like, I think I'm drowning. Like, and I had to like reach out to like my closest people, and kind of, I was very careful on who I reached out to, because I know some people heavy with that tough love, and I'm like, that's not gonna help me. Like, if I'm coming to you like, yo, feeling something, you'll be all right, you've been through worse stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? That's not helping me right now. If I'm struggling right now, like, that's not gonna help me right now. Like, you telling me to get over it, oh, why didn't I think of that? Like, you know what I mean? That's crazy that some people don't know how to handle, and they just think like, oh yeah, this ain't nothing compared to what you've been through before. Okay, but we in a different time now. You don't know what's haunting me in my head, or like what's weighing on my heart. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. Like I said, I slowly started to reach out to who I needed to kind of pull me out a little bit, to show them that like, yo, I'm not okay. Like, and I was kind of like honest with myself, and that's what kind of helped me start to like kind of get my slow peace of mind into starting to feel a little better. And I just had to realize that some days it's okay to not be okay. And I think that's the thing. Like, I think people make you feel guilty for like having a bad day or being in a bad mood. And I know, but myself, if I'm going through it, I try to just look, I don't want to take it out on you. Right. I'm trying to understand what I'm feeling. I'm trying to understand what I'm going through. and I don't want to put that on anybody else. So I'm very vocal when it comes to like my emotions and how I feel with certain things, because it's like, just know that I still love you and I got you, but right now I'm not okay, and I need you to understand that. You know what I mean? So
right, no doubt.
That's the gift and curse of being independent at times, right? You know, people feel like you're always a survivor and you're the strongest one, you know, and that's why you gotta, like you said, you have to have different groups of friends or people that you communicate with, you know, because you'll call some people that always rely on you, and they like, girl, I don't know what to tell you. You got to figure it out so you can tell me. Right?
I'm like, oh, great.
And then you got some, to your point, you got some that be like, come on, you'll be over it. Do some push-ups. You'll be all right. Whatever. You know what I mean? So, you know, you got to have some people.
You need some milk.
Right.
But good topic, Tiff. Good conversation piece. I mean, you know, we may revisit that again. The conversation continues. Michelle, what's on your mind? What you got for us?
Oh boy. So I'm going to say it's along the lines of social media, but it's just been a topic that I would say, being very combative with people. And it's about this fucking guy on TikTok named Andrew Tate. And I know I've sent you some of his stuff. And, you know, so obviously he's being labeled as a misogynistic, you know, that he just fucking like someone hurt him. That's why he talks about women. And then there's a certain individual who was like, well, I kind of agree with some of his points of views, which I do. There's certain things that I do agree with him. And the minute I said that to my female friends, they're like, oh my God, that's like, he's toxic. Is that what you're into? And I'm like, no, it's just, there's certain things that he does make a valid point. But there's certain things that I feel like is very far-fetched and out of line. And, you know, someone told me that he's like the persona of stopping the whole hot girl summer. And I was kind of like, but how? Like I feel like the way he speaks, not only to women and towards women, is very downgrading. But then I feel like he had this whole wave of like men like, yeah, he's right. And then obviously there was other men going against him. Women apparently all hate him. And then the few women that
like the new Kevin Samuels.
Right. And the few women that do agree with him, they start getting shitted on for agreeing with him with some of the things. Like I said, there's certain things I do agree with, and there's a lot that I don't. But it's
Waykme, are you familiar with Andrew Tate?
No, I just Googled him, and I can't believe some of the shit that listen, I'm surprised in this culture that we live in that he still has a voice, right?
Well, they blocked him on all social media. So
Paul, so I Googled him. He also thinks rape victims must bear responsibility for their attacks.
Yes. So to give you a quick rundown,
slap, grab, choke, shut up, bitch, sex.
You might recognize this man.
I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So she wants to do OnlyFans. She owes him some money because she's his. Women should clean. And I sat there and I thought, how are women allowed to drive?
Andrew Tate is a self-described misogynist who has recently been booted off Instagram and Facebook. And his actions have been described as capable of radicalizing men and boys to commit harm offline. The 35-year-old is a former professional kickboxer who now creates content and runs an online course in modern wealth creation at a company he founded called Hustlers University. He's publicly said that he made his first million when he was just 27 years old, and that by 32 he had 100 million. He's also said that he became a trillionaire quite recently. But the problem is that there are actually no trillionaires on the planet, with Elon Musk estimated to be worth $250 billion. Essential Sport says that Tate's net worth is closer to $30 million.
Fucking air stewardess is minimum wage.
His videos promoting misogyny have come to prominence this summer. He had 4.7 million Instagram followers at the time that his account was removed. It had grown rapidly from 1 million followers just 2 months before. Although his account has been banned from the platform, TikTok has been flooded with content about Tate. Videos with the Andrew Tate hashtag have been viewed more than 12.7 billion times. But it's important to note that this number doesn't just include content of Tate and his supporters, but instead videos criticising and making fun of the influencer.
Everybody knows the quickest kid in class gets all the bitches. That shit still applies today. The reason I get my pick on the most beautiful women in the world is because I am the fastest man in the galaxy.
He was permanently banned from Twitter for saying that women should bear responsibility for being sexually assaulted. But he is still on YouTube with over 750,000 subscribers. When interviewed by another YouTuber, he said he was absolutely a misogynist. But Tate has also told The Guardian that he plays a character in his videos and that he's actually innocent. He appeared on the 2016 season of UK Big Brother, but was evicted from the series after a video of him beating a woman outside of the show surfaced. He says that this video was a joke.
I love Trump. And yes, some people coin him as the new Kevin Samuels. He's very more extreme though. Kevin was more about relationships. His end goal was marriage, being with someone, and being with one person.
Your right person in your stats, he measured it differently compared
Andrew
to how
Tate
Andrew's doing it.
is more about, when it comes to marriage, and this is where, like you said, even the worst pastors, you're gonna agree with some of what he says because he's reading from a Bible. And that's what Andrew does. He'll give you a good quotable to explain his derogatory feelings. So for example, yes, he would speak about marriage, but then he'll say, but in the Bible it says, the father gives the woman away to her husband. And he said, because she's my property. It's like, whoa, I was with you, and then you went out the window. Yes, the father does walk the woman down the aisle, and then the pastor asks, who gives this woman away, da-da-da, yes. Now, again, back in the days, wives were exchanged for a donkey and some land. Cool. However, today's time,
I'll be damned.
You're not exchanging, a donkey and some land.
The guy calls me his property. Bitch, what? 0 to 100, you're gonna get knocked out.
And also, again, Andrew Tate, yes, he started out. He started out, again, this was some people say.
I feel still there's
a male empowerment kind of movement now thing, but again, there's a few people that take it to extremes, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
Like Waykme brought up, he's mentioned rape victims have to take accountability for it.
Because of the way that they're dressed. And that was the one that I was like,
and then
I was like, there's bitches that get raped in regular clothes.
But then he started, he has something called Hustlers University. He has this thing called Hustlers University where he considered to be like the Illuminati, but cooler. And in this thing, he says if you donate some money to him, he'll teach you how to be a hustler and drive cars like he do and get women like he does, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, no thanks.
He's basically a shyster. And again, like Michelle said, he uses certain things that can be agreeable with, but in the long run, he wants you to send him money to make himself money to become more famous and to grow from that. He really doesn't care about anyone. He's not caring about empowering any men. He doesn't care about women. He cares about making himself financially better, and that's what it comes down to. Now, what happened was his tactic of doing it wasn't making his own YouTube or Instagram. Within his Hustlers University, he kind of did like Fight Club. He had a pyramid scheme of you guys sign up, you post me on your page, and then it'll go viral as we trickle it down, yada, yada, yada. Very smart. Very smart using social media because, and at the end of the day, he's banned right now. However, his message carries on because now he's looked at as a martyr to those who did follow him that keep sharing his videos and stuff because he's appeared on other people's podcasts, other shows, other networks and things, and all of that still exists. So you can ban him specifically directly. However, his media still gets shared because he primarily did it on other people's platforms and had other people share his videos and content. Very smart. So he found a way to infiltrate the internet, so to speak, to be Agent Smith in the Matrix. He found a way
loophole.
And he found a loophole, and it was very smart. I don't know how much money he made from his Hustlers University and people that donate to him. But yes, he was banned because, again, some of the stuff he says can be used in certain, yes, help relationship. But when he went to extremes as far as talking about rape victims and talking about, they said he would, meet women and bring them back to his country and stuff like that. And it's not kidnapping, but they considered it trafficking. And again, I don't know how, the law is with that. If it's against their will, then maybe, but I don't know if the women agreed to that. But yes, Andrew Tate is now infamous. Like I said, he's looked at as a martyr now because those that did like him are now saying, "Oh, you want to silence him because he's speaking the truth," and da da da. So now all they did was bring him up even bigger, and it made him even more dangerous.
I just think people are looking for a new person to idolize and give them belief in things because people, I don't know, they just can't think for themselves anymore.
He's trying to give that
believe in what they want to.
Yes, that's one of the biggest things. Everyone is looking for guidance, leadership, someone that speaks and again, the moment there's been more men who have spoken out. They started this whole red pill manosphere thing, which kind of counteracted a women's liberation that was happening with, like you said, Hot Girl Summer, or certain things where women were kind of at the forefront of, being outspoken, and men felt like they were being silenced. So then these certain men became retaliatory, and again, some of it is useful, some of them are very extreme, and I
think sometimes people don't listen to the message. They're focused on the people and the behaviors. Like they see this guy, he's looking cocky, he's looking arrogant. So sometimes instead of just
I want that.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just listening, just let people speak their truth. You will understand everything you need to if you just let them talk and say what they gotta say.
And that was the biggest thing with Kevin Samuels, because a lot of people didn't listen to him. They took what he said from viral clips and labeled him a bad guy, when in actuality he was leading people towards marriage. A lot of the conversations he had with women was, well, why did you leave your last boyfriend? And they would say the answer. He was like, well, your best bet may be to work it out with him. You know what I'm saying? He would give relationship advice for the end game of marriage, kids, home, the American dream, so to speak. Whereas Andrew Tate is like, I got a Lamborghini, I got a Rolls Royce, I got 3 women over there, 1 in the jacuzzi, 1 in my bedroom. You want to live this lifestyle? Send me some money, and you can live it too. And it's like, I like him. I would sign up for that. And it's like, whoa, wait, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that, and he said some wild, like I said, to get banned, he said some, if you really go down the rabbit hole, you'll see he said some wild, flagrant stuff. His foundation
the only
can
thing
be
that
looked
I'm
at
against,
as...
I'm sorry. The only thing that I am against is the fact that they did silence him. Whether people agree with him or not, like I just feel like his freedom of speech was taken away by banning him. So that's the only, and I'm like scraping that on the floor.
So here's the catch, because I've had that conversation as well. Freedom of speech is what? The First Amendment to the Constitution.
Right.
But when you're on the internet, the Constitution doesn't exist. If you're on Twitter, you go by Twitter rules. When you're on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg is president, senate, governor, so on and so forth. You go by those rules. So the things that we all sign up for that nobody reads, the end user agreements and all that stuff, do you agree? Click check, yes, okay. Once you violate that, those are not the laws that we abide by in the street when there's police and government, the judicial system, so on and so forth. It's this platform. So right now we're on YouTube. I have to abide by YouTube's rules until I don't want to do that. And then it's A2021Vision.com. You can go there right now and see every video, every episode, and buy merchandise. But that's my world. I control that. So I'm Mark Zuckerberg of A2021Vision.com. I can boot whoever I want off of there. So your First Amendment and all that stuff is irrelevant on these platforms, because that's an American law. That's not the Facebook law or the Twitter law or the Instagram and the TikTok. That's here, you know what I'm saying? And that's why, not a shameless plug, okay? It's a literal plug. I'm no shame. Literally wearing merchandise, homie picks. You can watch Jared, Lil Danny.
by the way.
Football picks every Thursday, you know what I mean? But no shame at all. I love what I do. But again, that's the point. So everyone that gets mad, oh, Trump got banned from Twitter. Oh, deal with it. We
Right.
all, I've been shadow banned on Instagram for stuff I've posted. And I've said far less stuff than they have. But they control the algorithm, they control what is seen on the internet, and it goes back to our previous conversation with social media about mental health and stuff. Everybody should watch that documentary on Netflix. I believe it's called the Social Experiment.
Yeah.
They control what you see, and they affect people's, mental health and emotions for that moment of time. Again, it's their world. We all agreed and signed up for it. Waykme is not on social media. He chose to do so. Smart man. However, when we sign up and play that game, we playing in their rules. And now they're getting even more crazy. Now there's the metaverse. Mark Zuckerberg is having people put the VR goggles on and literally live in the Matrix. It's his rules. The Constitution.
I barely like this world. I'm gonna go to another one now.
Listen. So to go to that First Amendment thing, his amendment, his rights is not the same on the internet, and nobody's off.
Well, thank you for clarifying that.
Yes.
That was the only thing that I was kind of like,
None of our rights. There's an end use agreement that we all, for every program on our phone, every application we use, read it. Nobody does. Nobody reads it. But that's where your rights are. So as far as your amendments and rules, it's in there. We don't own what we post. We don't have the right for none of that. So you do have to abide by those rules. So the women that post pictures for their OnlyFans and then they get banned and they be like, yo, Instagram hates me. You're naked. We have children here. Put some clothes on and then continue using it. However, here we have our own laws.
Go to Twitter with that.
They all, it's the Wild West over there, which is crazy. Okay. If you get banned from Twitter, you was really doing some reckless stuff because they allow everything.
For real. Okay.
But the point is, First Amendment, when you talk to the street, in the world, you have the First Amendment right.
Yeah.
On the internet, social media.
Well, that makes sense. You
got to go by their rules, and that's how that works. So his rights for what he said, they have the policy where they consider it bullying or whatever it fell under the guideline it fell under. He violated that rule. He did. There's no argument. Everyone can feel how they want to feel. He violated the rules. He offended people. He bullied people. He did that. It happened. Same thing for Donald Trump. Again, a martyr. Oh, but he was speaking the truth. Yeah. But again, as president, he had all right to cut into our TV shows and make an address at any given time. But he chose to do it on Twitter. That's not America. It's Twitter. That's international. That's a whole new ball game. Even the president can get banned. That's how that goes.
Okay.
So Andrew Tate, he's talking about what he do with women and how he feels about it. All right, cool. And my man, do me a favor, remove yourself. Okay. That's how that works.
I just think we need to get back, and I don't know what shift in the universe or whatever, that men and women need each other. Like it's terrible out there.
Not only that, but also
Go ahead, Michelle.
Another thing too was the fact that how he belittled independent women, in the sense of let's just say if a woman was making six figures, and if a woman's like, well, if I'm making six figures, you need to be making the same as me or more. Or this, and to me, it's kind of like, well, if you know what you bring to the table, and if your partner just brings a little bit less to the table, but if you know that your partner is there for you through thick and thin, it doesn't matter what the income ratio is, as long as you have each other's backs,
Yeah.
I
wish it was like that. I've always been the breadwinner. And
I speak from past experience where I've been the breadwinner and I've been the one supporting, and because of the fact that I was so blindly in love, and I was like, no, he's a good guy, this and that, and then shit hit the fan, and I'm like, well, damn, I just wasted fucking 4 years of my life, and it's like one of those things to start over again. I feel like when women go through those issues, women are kind of like, nah, fuck that shit. This is what I bring to the table. You need to either meet me or bring more. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that mindset. But when Andrew Tate was making it seem like, oh, women are, they're just trying to be like gold diggers and this and that. And it's kind of like, well, no, because if we already know the hardship that we went through and we know what we could provide, then I would expect the same back. So like, to me, it's like,
I think that conversation can be had, but I think it's where you at in you, because sometimes when we're still bitter from the last situation and we're attempting to like put ourselves out there again, we could come off seeming like, crazy. Like, oh, this chick lost her mind. She over here talking about this, that, and third. But it's like, I think it's in the mental space or just how you're coming across. Because I've been around my guys, and these women have come off, and I'm like, okay, but you doing all this, and what, like, and now I start to question, and I start to look at myself. I'm like, where am I at mentally when I'm saying these things? Like, where am I at? Like, what do I provide? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you always the breadwinner and stuff like that. But I mean, like, do you got your own house? You know what I mean? Like, do you got certain, like, just certain things about yourself? It's like, we checking them off. You got to have this. You got to have that. Like, you got to, I need this, and a third. But like, we might miss out on something because that guy just needs that opportunity to be shown the good love and the good support, and he could take off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss. Because I always hear like, oh, guys be like, well, I want the woman to cook, the clean, and that. Okay, well, we're living different times where shit is expensive as hell. So we need a little bit more teamwork. I don't have a problem being submissive. And I always said this, like, I've never met a man who matched the actions of what he said to me. And that's pretty sad. Like, for dating wise, like I've never been able, like, I've been in relationships where I'm like, okay, I'm waiting to see what you finna do better now. But I'm terrified to let you take the lead, because I just know that like, and I've said it in myself that if it's not done or handled or set up, is it gonna be taken care of? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I know there are things that I had to be aware of moving into anything moving forward. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't even do the checklist no more. Like, I'm trying to figure out your spirit. I'm trying to figure out your mind. Like, is this going to work? Because everybody can hustle. Everybody, need be can get down with that. But I need a little deeper than that. Do I actually like to sit in the house with you? Am I going to miss you when I'm not there? Like, I'm going to enjoy coming home to you. Like, it's different things that I'm trying to figure out within myself, so I'm not repeating these patterns, putting myself in similar situations just with different bodies and different looks. You know what I mean? So
Waykme, hearing what you heard, again, what you got? What you got to input on this?
I mean, going back to this Andrew Tate thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
that guy.
I mean, listen. We all have our flaws, right? We all human.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, he's been through some stuff, or he needs to go to therapy, right? And to understand, right? Now, if I ever had a conversation with a dude, with no judgment, I just asked the dude, how would he feel if a man treated his mom or his daughter like that? And whatever that answer would be, it would be, because if he's content on saying all women, and then, oh, wait, hold on, it's not for my mom, not for my daughter. Mm-hmm. Versus all women, it's inclusive of my mom and my daughter. And, that's just where I leave that. I'm not going to get at no space. I'm happy that I didn't know of him before this conversation, and I'm happy to say I won't know of him after this conversation. So that's where I leave that. In terms of you didn't really talk about it, but you kind of like mentioned it. The dating space is crazy.
Yes.
Like, it is crazy.
We could talk about it after this.
The dating space now, is really crazy.
Yes, it is.
I'm a serial single guy, right? I've been single the majority of my life by preference. I love to be single, right? When I'm with you, I'm with you. When I'm not, I'm not. But when we together, we have a great time, right? But then you start, and of course, when you're single, that's when you meet all the people that you should be in a relationship with, right?
Everybody come out from the woodworks.
That's when you meet all the right people, right?
Yeah.
And you're not taking applications at that point longer than a day or a night or a weekend, and then when you start really, stop wanting to play around, you meet all these weirdos. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. What just happened? Did I lose all the good opportunities when I was playing around?
A little bit.
I mean, but and it's not even about me. It's the women I meet. They say the same thing. They say the same thing. So it's not even about a guy. It's about,
honestly,
women.
I can't even get a date. Like, just something simple. I'm not even asking for like a $500 steak because I don't eat steak, right? Take me to TGI Fridays or something. I'm cool. Like, be creative. Like, we could go to pull up to Chick-fil-A. I like Chick-fil-A. Like, make the day just memorable. You know what I mean? But I can't even get that. I just have like a wave of mad dicks being thrown at me. Like, it's just crazy to me because I'm like, that's not. If that's what I want, I'll let you know. But that's not like I need more than that. I need more than thinking I'm walking around looking like I need to get pounded out. Like, there's more to it than that. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, and then on top of that, I've been in some scenarios where I've just met up with people just to see. Like, they be like, "Yo, let's go hang out." Okay, I'll go hang out, and they be trying shit. Or let me put the tip in, or just lick it a little bit. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And turn around and try to lie on my box. Like, that to me is just insane. Are we in junior high? Like, do people really not know how to date anymore?
So let me jump in on that real quick. I feel like the dating game has changed, and it's twofold. I think what happened was in the world, right? And unfortunately, I'm a call out genders, unfortunately, right? Back when my come up, back in the 90s, right? Late 80s, early 90s, you know, it was easy. Like, it was easier, I should say. And I'm speaking solely for me, right? For me to, I can't speak now. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I was saying in the 80s and 90s. What you said?
I said your glasses getting fogged up?
Nah, she hugged me in some gel. Now I can't. Now y'all blurry. I see 5 of y'all. So back in the 90s, it was somewhat easy to go out and have a good time, right? Hang out with the women and that whole Netflix and chill thing. That's what it was, right? But as that age, we grew up. We grew out of that, right?
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, I don't know what happened. Oh, I do know what happened. The men, the quality, not the quantity, but the quality of good men, that's what became prevalent to women. So they started to settle, right? They started to settle. And because they were settling for the good men, that Netflix and chill thing became apropos again because they just wanted to be with a good man, right? Unfortunately, for good men and for women, that wasn't the only thing we wanted to do. Then you had some people that infiltrated the game, the younger version, and that's where the dick pics and all the other shit started getting thrown into the mix. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute, what we doing? That's not what we do. Oh yeah, we do that because that's the way you date, right? I was recently talking to this. I got a little homie, he 24. And again, I'm not on social media, so I don't know nothing about social media. And he said the way things work nowadays is you meet a person, you ask them for their IG handle, right? Hold on.
That.
So you meet a person, you ask them for their IG, right? As y'all have a conversation over IG, it progresses to let me get your number. So I said, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You just met the person. Y'all had a good conversation and you getting a generic email address? Like, what we talking about? I don't know what that is. And he said, yeah, that's how we date nowadays.
If they ask me for my Snap, like, they'd be like, yo, what's your Snap? Red flag for me. Red flag. Because I'm like, you're hiding something. You're hiding something.
Right? So the person could be 50, but mentally, they're not 50. They're not where we at in terms of, and that's what's saturating this dating pool and making it infested and making it a cesspool, right? Because when it's all said and done, you know, you let's say you got 10 guys that approach you. Out of the 10, you might have a decent conversation with 20%. 2, you might have a decent conversation. But to your point, of that 10, the majority is gonna be like, yo, can I send you a dick pic? Yo, can we meet and, you know, Netflix and chill? And you like, yo, bruh, if I wanted to do that, you know, I could say the same thing. If I really wanted to do it, I'm at a stage where I'm trying to teach my daughter the right thing. And trust me, that's fucking hard. There you go.
Oh, I know.
You have no idea. You have no.
Trust
I was that dude. I was that, and what they say. Nas said it best. He was like, you.
They say the coolest players and foulest heartbreakers in the world. God gets us back. He makes us have precious little girls.
You just saw it 3 times, right? Y'all just seen it 3 times. But the reality for me is, I had to change my way. Say it again.
How old is she, if I may ask?
She's 11.
Oh, okay, she's 11.
So for me, I had to change my ways because I got to show her what a man should look like, how a man should treat her, right? So the streets don't become her father, her daddy. You know what I mean? And for me, that's more important than anything.
No.
So if I gotta stop doing what I enjoyed most, which I really don't enjoy no more anyway, I'm cool with that because I'm setting, a foundation, not only for me, but for her to follow, and then for her to also set for future, whatever, if she chooses to have children. In all reality, you get what you put out, right? Karma's a motherfucker. Okay. And that's what it is. Like, I'm getting the karma from something or someone, and I'm all right with it. I make my bet, I'm gonna lay in it. But what's the most important to me is not to pass it down. I can't pass that down.
Break those curses.
Passes down my karma, right? So what she sees is me being a decent dude. It's funny because we just had a conversation. I'm starting to, I realized the more we spend a lot of time together, and the more we spend time together, it's almost like we're in a relationship. Like, I gotta explain to her what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, but I'm okay with that because it's reciprocated, right? She feels comfortable telling me. So this past weekend, she just had what y'all get.
Oh.
Yes, right. And we had a conversation about it. Now, the average man don't want to have that conversation. And trust me, I didn't want to have it either. I was happy she caught it with her mama. And I told her, stay with your mama. But she came the next day. I'm like, yo, how about we don't see each other physically for the next 6 months? Because I'm going to need some time to deal with this.
That's a whole nother conversation we got to have, because girls are getting that little earlier too. Like, my goddaughter, that's happening much sooner. 10 years.
My niece at 10.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Not your goddaughter.
So, bro, listen. Let me tell you, and the eye-opener for me was that we had a conversation and it was so easy to have. Mm-hmm. Like, there's years of prepping that to get to this point, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't even go buy tampons for my mom. Like, I'm not doing that. In my 20s, no, I ain't doing that. A girl I'm dating, I'm not doing that. I did it maybe 2 or 3 times because I was forced, right? And I think it was a stigma attached to it. I think that's what it was. That's all I can tell you. I can't say anything.
Listen, as a girl, I used to be embarrassed to even go get pads or something.
Right?
It seems so personal.
But meanwhile, so I was already prepared. I had the, what do you call it? The kit. I had a kit. I had a friend of mine.
Oh, I thought you said a cake. I'm like, you had a cake.
No. The cake. Let's celebrate. It was a party, by the way. I sent y'all an invite. Y'all didn't make it.
Nah, I didn't get that.
Nah. So I had a kit, like I forgot what it's called, but anyway, it's a little girl's kit when it's their first time or whatever, right? I had a friend of mine send me that kit like a month or 2 ago, because I was mentally prepared for this to happen, and I didn't want to get caught sleeping. So anyway, this weekend with the kit, we went through the kit, and there were some things that she said she wanted to get in addition to. So this weekend we in the supermarket, and she's calling stuff out, and I'm like, oh no, it's right here. What about this box? Oh no, it's right here, right? And it makes sense, but it didn't make sense to me prior to going this past weekend. I never realized they came in different sizes. Again, it makes sense, but I never looked at them. So I was like, wait a minute. So my daughter's grabbing the box, and it's a 4. And I'm like, wait a minute, 4, 5, 3. Yeah, you're not a 4. You're not a 4. Ain't no way in the world you're a 4. Do you have negative sizes?
Right.
-5 or something? They're like, no, the lowest size we have is a 3. I'm like, matter of fact, we need to just let's go to Amazon, because you're not a 4, you're not a 3. I don't even know what you are, but you're not these numbers. Not in my house. Maybe at your mother's house you can wear that. Not in my house. Those are big people numbers.
Oh my god.
We gonna have an episode about that one because that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
All the dads on that.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah.
That's a whole. Like I said,
dads and at least some moms on that conversation.
Yeah, like
listen, I'm
definitely gonna get some moms for that because
one thing I would say, her mom definitely educated her because she was spot on about what she needed to do, how she needed to handle it. And in that process, she was educating me too, right? My daughter, that is. So it was a learning curve. And it was one thing that I realized, sometimes the world we live in, right? It's always been said that you can learn from anyone. We've always known that, right? Kids could teach you anything, you should never be too old to learn anything, that type of deal. But it's paramount for me in this day and age where we talk about women empowerment, that I make sure that my daughter's empowered to speak her mind, because my daughter's not disrespectful, right? And I don't foster an environment where it's that shut down. You can't talk about it as it's my way or the highway. And what we talking about? So it's my way or the highway, but I want you to have a voice when you're in the street, right? Like, how does that work? You learn here. You learn how to communicate here. You learn how to voice your opinion. You learn how to express why you agree or don't agree with something. And I'll help you to make sure that it's crafted in the right way. So when it's presented to the public, they have no choice but to listen. And if they don't want to listen, that's because they closed-minded. Because you didn't come across disrespectfully. You didn't come across rude. You just said, hey, that's your opinion. Here's my approach on it. Why wouldn't I want to listen to you? Oh, because of my age? Okay. Oh, because of my gender? Oh, okay. All right. So that's ageism, sexism. We can keep going. Which one is it? Or you just closed-minded? Which one?
Right.
So, and that, and that's why when we're together, and Paul will tell you, this is not for no Zoom meeting or for you guys, right? This is me all the time. This is me all the time. Like, this is my second kid. My son is much older, so we grew up together. You might as well say. But
that's me and Caitlin. Me and my daughter. I feel like me and my daughter grew up together for sure. Yeah. But my son, and that's the thing I told my daughter. I was like, unfortunately, I had to grow up with you. Yeah. I said, my son is getting the adult version of me. Yep. So the parenting is going to be so much different. And there's a lot of jealousy. It creates a lot of jealousy between the both of them. There's a 13-year gap between them,
I have 18.
Jesus Christ. That's starting all over again.
Yeah.
You were just there to be free. 18 out.
I wasn't about to. I packed. I was gone.
You were gone, right? And then they're like, surprise.
Tiff couldn't even find me. Tiff couldn't find me with the work she do. She couldn't find me. Word. I was gone.
I don't know.
She was on it.
Or better yet, Tiff, the reason why I'm back. She found me.
There it is.
One or the other.
No.
But yeah, but bringing it full circle to the Andrew Tate situation, like you said, the conversations you have with your daughter, empowers her and shows, and I think most people say, for daughters, their father is that first male relationship kind of, Waykme, you alluded to that. Like y'all conversations is like, she's your woman, like your date. You got to tell her where you at, time you're gonna be there, and she's getting that first experience. So now you're setting the bar for where what she's requiring from men to be going forward, and that's something that again we can relate to, us in this group of people that know. But when we let the internet raise kids, that's when we get to the point where they're looking for, well, who's the person that I need to, Andrew Tate. I want to be like him, because I don't know the household.
There's a female version of Andrew Tate, though. I'll get her name when I get a chance.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's the female version?
There's a female who's always like talking down about men, like, well, men ain't shit. And
there's a few, because I've seen a few ladies.
So there's one
got banned on TikTok.
She's almost just as equivalent as.
Oh, okay. But that's what happens, because whenever there's one thing, then it's something to counteract that. A lot of people don't like to admit it, but the reason we got Donald Trump was because Obama was in office. You know what I'm saying? Because so many people in Middle America was like, oh, we never let a we want him because he's going to be the exact opposite of that's what we want right now to counteract that. And that's what happens a lot of times. We always get the counteraction of, what preceded, and we need to start coming together more in relationships. You know what I'm saying?
So I could jump in real quick. You talk about Obama, you talk about Trump, right? Mm-hmm. And this is not a topic that I can finish, but I can definitely start it.
Okay.
That's respect versus loyalty. That's the conversation, right? That begs that conversation. You got two spectrums. What do you want? What would you prefer? You prefer respect or loyalty, right? And you got a lot of people that were loyal to Trump, but they didn't respect him. You got a lot of people that respected Obama, and they were loyal to him, right? And then on the same on the opposite spectrum, you have people that respected him wholly but wasn't loyal to him,
right?
So which one do you want? Which one do you want in that regard? And I think that's the reason, to your point, you had Obama, you had a presidential president, and they wanted everything that was totally different. And nobody in this world could ever say Trump, whatever you call him, right? Whether you love him or you hate him. One thing we probably can all agree on, not probably, we definitely can all agree on, was he wasn't a presidential president. He was not.
But that's what got him elected. But that's my point. That's what got him elected, because Obama was there and he was who he was. There's a separation in America that wanted the exact opposite. And that's
correct.
And they found someone that, and again, to me, Donald Trump knew that, because he's been a showman, he's been a businessman, so he knew to play that.
Listen, I think Trump was trolling us when I didn't think he was gonna get that far.
He wasn't trolling us, he was trolling them. They voted for him, and he became exactly. He knew all the right things. That's why they have the trial now, where they can't concrete put it on him, because he never said go to the office, bust down the windows, put your feet up on it. He never told them to specifically do it. He said, we're going to fight for the election. We're going to rally for the votes. We're going to, we'll step on anyone who gets in our way, metaphorically. Like, he never said literally go do it. So he knew the right verbiage to use to rile them up, because he knew, even when they asked him, hey, do you denounce white supremacy? He like, niggas vote for me. I mean, I don't like it, but I mean, what is white supremacy? What does that mean? You tell me. Like, so he knew how to. I'm not gonna say no to the people that are gonna go and click my name. No, stupid election person asking me questions during this. I'm not gonna.
No, that's not how he went about it. At that point, he started attacking me.
You denounce the people that are gonna vote for you.
You're fat. You're ugly.
Right.
You should not be allowed to have this job.
Are you against them?
It was a deflection.
Dummy.
He deflected a lot.
They're gonna vote for me. Duh.
Yeah.
So again, you could hate whatever, and same thing with Andrew Tate. There's a group of people that he spoke to that was looking for, he's saying it, that's my guy. He's saying what I was thinking. I couldn't say it that exact way, but he's saying it. That's my guy. I'm with whatever he's about. Oh, they trying to silence him. See, because he's been speaking the truth. He's speaking the truth. And it's like, that's your truth. That's a truth. That's some truth. Right. It's not the truth. It's truthish. Right. You know what I'm saying? He can sprinkle some truth into his, opinion. And that's what every car salesman does. You get a used car salesman. Hey, does it run good? Man,
he was great. He was great for entertainment.
Sure, and that's because we can decipher entertainment, and we're not looking for a false idol to worship. Oh, speak to me, Mr. Tate. Tell me, yes. Because even I could see it and be like, oh, it's kind of okay. Then cool. At the end of the day, it's all right. The video's over. All right, I'm done. Like. You know what I'm saying? But Waykme, you gotta go.
Gotta go, peeps. It's been great.
Yes, sir.
Look forward to talking to y'all again.
The conversation continues. We will have more conversations like this. Later, sir. All right, but Andrew Tate, and that's what happens, and that's what great salespeople do. You find everyone has a void or something they're looking for, and once you find that relatability, people are gonna attach to it. That's why there are influencers and all that stuff. It's like, I don't need someone to influence me. At this point, you got to be able to think for yourself, speak for yourself. What do you think?
Yeah.
How do you feel? And at the end of the day, when it comes to relationships or even that, what works for you? What this man is saying can't be the 100% absolute. My relationship won't be like his relationship. That goes for Kevin Samuels and whoever.
Right.
Even when we talked about Will and Jada. Listen, they're still married. If they are happily married or what have you, that works for them.
Right.
Whether it's an open relationship, whether it's whatever it is, they're in it, they're dealing with it. That don't mean that applies to me. So they're not relationship goals, hashtag.
Right.
I don't have relationship goals
None
online.
of them never been. I've never been seeing them like, oh, I want to be like
right.
them, or
My relationship
Beyonce,
goals.
and all. I've never.
True relationship goals may change every day, depending on who I'm with.
That's why it's very important to find the right person that matches you. And it's not like it don't even got to be the same. Like it's just they understand how to deal with you in your emotions, because I feel like it's always going to be work. And I think people don't realize that everything in life is going to be work. Even your relationship, just because I got you doesn't mean it stops right there. Like,
it's
I
not
don't
the
own
end.
you.
Absolutely.
And I feel like people think that, and that the problem is every
get
day it's work. Because not only do I got to wake up and not think about myself, I want to think about my person, because I want to continue this on with you. And I think people don't realize that. Like it's everyday work, everyday work. I want to make sure you're good, mental where you're at. Are we on the same page? Like, are we still committed to what we're going towards? Like, you know what I mean? Like at some point, the honeymoon stage is gonna end. But at some point, that's when you're gonna really test to see who that person is and if they're right for you. Because at some point you're gonna get distracted, whether it's life problems or your own situation. You're not gonna be fully invested in the relationship mentally, possibly. And that's why it takes the right person to make you realize the end goal and the bigger picture of what you're going at, and make sure that it's still on the same page. And if it's not, people have a problem with being honest because they're selfish. They don't want to lose a good thing, but yet they don't want to take care of the good thing either.
And that's why I respect
it's a lot of
Kevin Samuels
right now.
Or once again, he went viral for certain things, But then it was like once you actually, I like to research and investigate. And looking further into Kevin's videos, it was like this dude is a relationship coach. Like he's teaching people that the end game should be a long-lasting, healthy relationship. And he went viral for telling a woman she was average at best. But what's lost in that is what her expectations was based on. Just I look good, I should be given the world. And she was like, "Why are they not doing that?" And he's like, "Well, ma'am, you don't look as good as you think you do." So you might want to readjust what you're looking for based on how you feel you look to the world. And that got lost in the conversation. And he tried to tell it to her as nice as possible multiple times, and she wasn't getting it. So then it just came out, "Ma'am, you're average at best." Like you're not.
That's what I'm saying. I think people are not realistic with themselves in everything. I think they, people portray the cockiness with the confidence, and it's two different things. Like you can fill yourself up and have good self-love, but if you're sitting here thinking you're better than all these women out here because maybe you don't got a kid, or because this, that, and the third, or because you never been married, or to say that don't make you better than nobody.
Right.
And I think society has messed us up to think that we are set at a specific timeline. Like if we don't have kids by 25, if we're not married by 30, if we're not this by that, like people have messed it up. And then they calculate that based upon how confident the level that they think they are at. Like self-worth doesn't start at what, because you got a job or something. Self-worth starts at other things. Like where's your mental at? Where's your heart at? How are you talking to people? Like, how are you moving? Like, you know what I'm saying? Certain things like that. People think it's, I got this job. I could buy me red bottoms and I could do this. What you going to do this? Can you take care of my heart? If God forbid something, like I got sick, are you going to hold me down? Like I got to sit here and take care of my, it's certain things like that. People measure it incorrectly. Like
the material things. A lot of people focus on the material things, and that goes back to what we were saying before about like social media. People just gauge, this rapper bought his girlfriend a Birkin bag. This person did it. Okay, they're worth millions, sure.
Let me tell you something.
Thousands.
I will never ask my shorty to get me any type of bag like that. I barely have an items for a small Walmart purse. Like it's not happening.
Right,
and that's not happening.
People have to evaluate their life based on their life.
Yeah,
I can't gauge it based on these rappers and actors and singers, and Nah, I'm not them. I work over here. I'm pulling it in. I got taxes due. Got these bills due.
No,
Oh man, my
I
phone
mean,
cracked. I
I'm
gotta
not
buy a
gonna
new.
lie.
Like
I'm not gonna lie. Like I am a very big, firm believer that if I work hard, I'm entitled to treat myself to something.
Sure.
Now, I'm a
Right.
foodie. I'm a foodie. I love to eat. So like with me, like I go to a nice restaurant. Like that's
Your love language is like, let's go try a new place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's exactly what I do. So I'll go to a new restaurant. I'll try something new, and that's about it, But like, I never like. To me, it's like the logic of buying, like you said, a Birkin bag, a Gucci bag, and it's kind of like, but I'm still renting. That makes no fucking sense.
Right.
If I have my own house, my own car, and I'm buying my Gucci bags, cool. But when it was one of those things where it's kind of like, I had a friend who was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself. I bought myself a Gucci bag and my Gucci wallet. And I'm like, yeah, but the wallet doesn't meet the income. Like, because you're
having a true accomplishment.
Like it's not because you're flaunting it because you just want to flaunt it, and your rent's being paid. Like, so what achievement really do you have? So
posing Instagram. Look at my bag.
Right.
And to me, it's like, nah, like I said, yes, granted, like I know, like I said, I work hard, and then there's times I'm like, you know what? Shit, I would like to go to Peter Luger's. I'm a steak girl. I love to eat steak. But it's one of those things that, or even in a sense, like, you know what? I've been busting my ass. Let me go fucking to Del Frisco's. Like, I'll go to those 5-star Michelin rated steaks. But again, I'm a foodie. I appreciate that thing. But to me, it's that I work hard and I'm entitled to give that to myself. But it's a me thing for my own or me and my partner. It's not something I'm going to be, let me post it on Instagram. Like right. It makes no sense to me. So like, it's just this whole thing about flaunting of what you got and when you don't got, to me, it just makes no, or even like the girls, again, I work in the aesthetic industry. Girls that get their bodies done and they thinking they're bad bitches. I mean, granted, they might be bad bitches, but it's like, but you still live in the projects. Like
and your mental is horrible.
Right. Like to me, like I am okay being plain Jane next door, but I'm humble about it. I'm okay with that because I know at the end of the day, I know what I bring to the table. Like my body may not be a 10, but shit, my personality is at a fucking 20. Like, so to me, that's the bigger thing, because at the end of the day, your body's going to get old. My personality will stay the same no matter how old I get.
So I recently had somebody, right? I had met up with them. It just wasn't hitting to me. First of all, I hate when dudes always try to talk to me and then they try to mock me by doing like the whole New York talk, right? Ooh, that irks my spirit. Like that's not gonna make me, they like, oh son, like you gonna put on your tens and give me $1.50. I'm like, I don't even talk like that. Like you're bugging right now. And then it's like, so I already knew I wasn't feeling him. And then all of a sudden, like he tried to talk to me, like keep talking, and I wasn't with it. And I had to be honest with him, like I had to curve him. And then I told him, like I had said, yo, I'm just being honest with you. I just don't think like I'm for you, like what you're looking for. And he goes, no, why would you say that? You're beautiful. And he goes, well, since we're like being honest, he was like, you were actually bigger than what I expected. I was like, okay. Like, and he was like, oh, but you working out. And he was like, da-da. And I'm looking like, oh yeah, that's really gonna make me want to hop on your dick now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Like, no, like because in my mind, I feel like, okay, so if God forbid, maybe I get depressed and I gain weight, or if I have a baby and I gain weight, you gonna feel some type of way because I'm bigger than what you expected? Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's kind of crazy. Like, there's no, I can't really say if it's a filter, but people say things now and think that that's normal. Like some things you could have left to yourself. If you were still interested in, let me see the progress in mental where I'm at. You don't know if like being a big girl is an insecurity of mine. Like you don't know. And maybe because at the end of the day, like I always say, the world will never know what I'm going through because it's not the world's business. But there are people who struggle with that. Like imagine he would have said it to somebody who like, has been picked on their whole life. Me, you could care less. Because at the end of the day, you're not getting this kitty. So you say what you want. you was already not getting it. You know what I'm saying? But you gonna sit here and tell me, oh, you was bigger than what I expected, but you're going to the gym. And then that's like a back assward hand type of compliment type of thing.
Backhanded compliment.
Yeah, like what? Yo, oh, you were bigger than what I expected, but you're pretty and man, get out my face. Get out my face.
And that's another thing. Like, I'm like, what? Because I'm fat? And like, oh, you cute because you like you're pretty for a fat girl. Bitch, fuck you.
I never get why people just do that. It's the labeling.
Yeah, but listen, ladies, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah, we could.
Thank you for the topics and the conversation. Pretty good topics. Definitely have some good ones. I know you got some more, but I don't want to hold y'all for too much longer. We can definitely do this again next week. It's just not a problem.
I'm going to work out.
No doubt. Once again, shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to Waykme for sharing his time with us today.
He did his best.
Yes. Shout out to you, Tiffany. Shout out to you, Michelle, and everybody. We'll be back again to do this next week. Probably have y'all back again. We'll see what happens. Some more people are supposed to be here, but they all, we'll see what happens.
It's all right. We made it happen. We ain't need them.
That's true. And I'm not going to judge. They might be going through something. I don't want to put no pressures on them. But we made it happen. You know what I'm saying?
We held it down. We held
it down. Thank y'all. Because I couldn't have did it without y'all. That's right. But the conversation continues. We back again to do it again later.